Hey everybody, Jessica Levinson in for Harry. I'm a professor at Loyola Law School and host of the Passing Judgment podcast. I'm recording this just a few moments after the partial verdict in the Proud Boys seditious conspiracy case. So I want to tell you a little bit about what happened and what's going to happen. I think everybody who's watching this video knows that there was an angry mob that stormed the Capitol on January 6th, 2021. Now, why that day? Because that's the day that Congress was supposed to do what they always do, which is every 4 years, they certify the Electoral College count votes. And they do that as a ministerial task. Typically, it's not on the news. It's not a big deal. We count up all the Electoral College votes, and the president of the Senate, the vice president, certifies, and that's it. And we don't talk about it on local or national news programs. Obviously, January 6, 2021 was very different because the former president of the United States, former President Trump, in my view, ginned up an angry mob and essentially told them to storm the Capitol and thwart the peaceful transfer of power. Now, of course, the peaceful transfer of power is a hallmark in our nation's history. We fight it out tooth and nail in presidential elections, and then the person who's defeated accepts that and says to the person who won, "You are my president, and I wish you the best." And that is something that we're very proud of in our country. That's not exactly how things went, of course, after Trump lost to Biden. So that brings us back to the seditious conspiracy case and dealing with the Proud Boys, which were essentially a fighting force that organized themselves in order to try and make sure that the former president, President Trump, could stay in power. And they faced a number of counts here. There were 5 different defendants. One of them, Enrique Tarrio, was the chair of the Proud Boys. He actually wasn't there that day. I want to talk about that in a moment. So there were 5 different defendants in this case, all leaders of the Proud Boys, this far-right kind of paramilitary organization, again, wanting the former president to stay in power despite the fact that he lost the election. Now, in one sentence, what were they trying to do? Just what I said. They're trying to thwart the peaceful transfer of power. They're trying to make sure that these electoral college votes are not certified, and so that now President Biden never became President-elect Biden and then ultimately President Biden. So the chair, Enrique Tarrio, he actually was not in D.C. that day. He had been arrested for vandalism, for burning a Black Lives Matter flag, and he was basically banished from the city. So what was he charged with? Well, all 5 were charged with seditious conspiracy, and then 2 other counts dealing with conspiracy, obstructing an official proceeding, preventing law enforcement or members of Congress from carrying out their official duties. And then there were individual charges against all of the defendants.
Hey everyone, we're taking a quick break to ask you to take a second to like and subscribe. It's a quick thing that really helps the show. Thanks, and back to the video.
What did the jury say? They found that 4 of the 5 defendants here, including Tarrio, were guilty of seditious conspiracy. That's our big takeaway. 4 of the 5 defendants were found guilty of seditious conspiracy. With respect to that one remaining defendant, Pizzola, the jury was directed by the judge to go back and keep deliberating. So we don't have a guilty or not guilty with respect to his actions on the first 2 conspiracy counts. Now, a couple of big takeaways that we should think about here. One, huge win for the government. No 2 ways about it. Really big win for federal prosecutors. Seditious conspiracy is a difficult charge. This was a very lengthy trial. Some people, if they had not been successful, would have said they overcharged, they reached too far. This is obviously a charge that goes back to the Civil War era, rarely used for obvious reasons. But again, a guilty already on 4 of the 5 defendants. That's a big win. A couple of other things to think about. As we've mentioned, Tarrio wasn't present at the Capitol. And so the fact that the government was able to get a guilty for seditious conspiracy when he wasn't present could tell us where they might go for other leaders of the Proud Boys or the Oath Keepers or other similar groups moving forward. Another thing to think about, maybe the last thing for us to think about right now, is that the defense here was, well, there was never a plan. There was never a specific plan among the Proud Boys members to say, here's exactly what we're going to do on that day. And the prosecution said, you don't need that kind of detailed, premeditated plan. What you need before the action has taken place is an agreement among the members to engage in unlawful action. And they said, we have enough for that here. You don't have to have written out a contract beforehand. What we have based on the text messages, based on other evidence, is that there was an agreement to engage in unlawful action. And I think that really undercut the defense's argument here. And again, their argument was, well, we didn't plan. We didn't know what was going to happen on that day. We just showed up. Again, I think the prosecution really beat back that defense. So this is a partial verdict. We're going to hear a little bit more, but I wanted to bring you this as soon as we got it. I hope that helps explain some of what's going on. It's a big case. It's a complicated case. Number of different counts, 5 different defendants. Bottom line, really big win for the federal government, and I would say for accountability as well. Wishing everybody a great day, and we'll bring more to you soon.
Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.